Okay. So this toy problem 4 is all about the 4 queens problem. So we are going to place the queen in each row so that the queens don't attack each other. So that is the problem. So how do we start with it? We start with the empty tiles. So you don't have any queen in all the 4 rows and 4 columns. The first step says you'll place the queen in 1 comma 1. So after placing this here, you have to check for the second row. In second row, you will start with 2 comma 1, and then you'll move on to 2 comma 2, but you cannot place it there because if you place it in 2 comma 1, I don't have to repeat all this. We know this, right? So you cannot place it because there'll be an attack. If you place it in 2 comma 2, you'll have a diagonal attack. So I'm placing it in 2 comma 3. So this is done. Then what has to be done is you have to place the next queen. That is, in third row you have to place the queen. So if you try placing it in third row, you cannot place because 3 comma 1 you'll have an attack, 3 comma 2 you'll have a diagonal attack, 3 comma 3 you'll have a column attack as well as a diagonal attack, and 3 comma 4 you'll have a diagonal attack. So you don't have an option. So what you do is you stop with this solution and then you have to backtrack to the place where you left. So when you say where you left, you have to go to 2 comma 3, and then you are adjusting the value of 2 comma, I mean you're moving 2 comma 3 to 2 comma 4. So once this is done, then again you have to try placing the third queen. So third queen can be placed in 3 comma 2, 3 comma 1 not possible, right? So once it's placed in 3 comma 2, then what do? So then you have to place the fourth queen, but then the fourth queen you cannot place in 4 comma 1, 4 comma 2, 4 comma 3, and 4 comma 4 because in all places you have an attack. So obviously what do? Since you cannot place it here, so you have to backtrack. You cannot once you backtrack to 3 comma 2, you cannot move your queen here. So obviously you have to backtrack again, and this queen can also not be moved. So you have to backtrack and change your first queen. So first queen is moved to this place. So once this is done, you try placing your second queen in the second row, which happens at 2 comma 4. And once this is done, then you try placing the third queen. So third queen is placed in 3 comma 1, but fourth queen doesn't have a place. No, fourth queen can be placed here. That is 4 comma 3. So this is what is a method of solving your 4 queens problem, right? By means of backtracking. And then the other solution, whatever, like the same way of solving it, if you try, you'll get this as another solution. Then moving on, I mean extending the same problem to 8 queens also, using the same backtracking method, you can solve it. So we're not going to solve it and show using the backtracking. I mean the tree is need not be constructed. I'm just giving you the final solution of this. Probably you can work it out and check whether I think we have more than 4 solutions for this. And if you say the fifth solution, probably it is going to be the mirror of the other solution, right? So you don't have to worry about it. So you just derive this 8 queens, I mean the states of the queens, and that is what will be the configurations for 8 queens problem. Now coming to our AI components as far as this n queens problem are concerned. So what are all the components that we considered? We considered initial state. What is that initial state here? It simply means that you don't have any queens on the board. Final state is what? That is what we call it as goal state. Yeah. Goal state is you have all the queens placed on the board and none should attack each other. Then what is the action at each state? Action here is also called as successor function. So you have to add a queen to an empty square, and the underlying condition for this action is obviously you don't have any attack. Only then you can add a queen to the board. Then the transition model is returns the board with a queen added to the specific square. So here this is a new terminology, that is transition model, but usually this is not a component of AI, I mean AI problem, but then you have the other components, that is states, initial states, action, and then the goal state, path cost. What is the path cost? Because for each state you don't actually involve any movement, right? So you're just placing the queen at one particular position. So search cost only exists. Searching means you don't actually take it as a cost. Moving from one place to another place only you take it as a path cost. So that we have given it as 0. So how many possible investigations that has to be made is starting from 8 by 8. For this is for a 8 by 8 square board. So you are trying to place 8 different possible queen combinations. So it becomes 64 into 63. After placing one queen, that becomes 63. So these many investigations has to be made for an 8 queens problem. So that becomes 1.8 into 10 to the power of 14 possible sequences that has to be investigated. This is just for information. But then you as far as 8 queens or 4 queens is concerned, you just have to demonstrate the problem with with all the mention of AI components, right? So that is all about the 4 queens problem. Then moving on. Okay, states and actions. Okay, the same thing. When you say n queens, n lies between 0 to 8. These are all the additional information that you have to write while writing or explaining the 8 queens problem, right? And here they say if it is 8 queens, then it is we have seen it here, 1.8 into 10 to the power of 14 possible investigations. And as you increase the number of queens, so this is going to be enormously increased, right? So there's one simple solution, another solution that was also given for 4 queens problem. So what they say here is, here we have added one queen at each row, and then if we cannot place the queen, what we have done is we have to backtrack. Yeah, we have backtracked it, and after backtracking, we have got another new position for the queen. This was our solution. Another solution that was proposed in the literature is, instead of placing the queens in the row-wise order, if you place the queens in the column-wise order, right? So they seem like the investigations has shown that instead of taking 1.8 into 10 to the power of 14 investigations, the number of investigations has drastically reduced to just 2057 investigations, and the solution is easy to find. Probably if it is 100 queen problem, then instead of 10 to the power of 400 states, it was just 10 to the power of 52. That is by placing one queen in each column, right? That was a addition that was done in the research literature review. Okay, so this is just for your information. So I think this toy problem is fine. You just have to explain the position of the queens. Probably you have to use backtracking and solve the 4 queens problem. That is enough. You don't have to do for 8 queens. And then you have to explain all the AI components with respect to the 4 queens problem, right? So that is all about this particular problem. Moving on, the next problem what we have here is the block world problem. Again, block world problem is also very easy. So you'll be having stacks like this. Wait, I'll show you the stacks first, then we'll move on to the problem. The final stack must be ordered like this, that is A to E. And the initial stack that was given to you will be unordered. Yeah, this is the initial stack, right? So you have to order this in this particular way, A to E. How are you going to place it? You can place only one building, one block on top of each other block, the other block in one particular move. Then otherwise, what the other way of doing it is, you can pick a block and you can place it on the floor. So these are the 2 steps that you can do. You cannot pick 2 blocks at a time, and you cannot you have to place one on top of the other. So this is very simple. So how are we going to do this? So similar to your 8 puzzle problem, in this particular block world problem, you have to use your heuristics function. So when I say heuristics function, okay, so here what is block world? The problem statement is given. So you have a flat surface, which is, we consider it as a tabletop, and then an adequate set of identical blocks which are identified by letters. So you have the letters there, and the blocks can be stacked one on one to form towers of apparently unlimited height. And then the stacking is achieved using a robo arm. So you're not going to pick and place it. You have a robo arm which is going to pick and place. The operations will be performed by the robo arm. And finally, the robo can hold one block at a time. and only one block can be moved at a time, right? So this is the constraint and as well as the problem statement. Now moving on, so you have a robo arm. Now you have to represent the actions, right? So usually we are not learning about strips programming here. We have another place where we are going to elaborately learn about the strips, but then just know the constructs. When you're using strips, you'll be placing the function name and what you're going to place within the bracket. So on table A means this is on table, C is also on table, right? And then when you say B, B is on A. And then hand empty, this refers to robo arm. When I say clear B, clear C, it simply means that you don't have anything on top of B and you don't have anything on top of C. So these are the typical representations. Similar to our production rules, you'll be having the representations. And usually in strips, we'll be seeing two things. One thing we call it as a precondition. Then the second thing is what we call it as an action. The third one is called as postcondition. So as a result of action, the precondition gets converted into a postcondition, right? So for example, we'll see how this happens. Now here, for each block that has the correct support structure, you're going to give +1. If it is wrongly positioned, then you're going to give it a -1. Okay. So for here, you see all the tiles are wrongly placed. So from the ground, we are going to give it a negative heuristics. So the total negative heuristics is going to be -10. And as you progress from -10, you have to progress to +10. Why do I say +10? It's because that happens to be my goal state. Goal state is A, B, C, D, E. So when you add all things, because everything is there in the correct position, so you get a +10. Okay. Now we'll see how is this being solved. So the first step, I'm going to pick A and I'm going to place it on the floor. So what would be the action sequence? I have to say, using these production rules. Okay. Using these representations, can you tell me on table, first of all, what do you have here? What are all the steps that can be, how do you illustrate this particular step?
On table A,
Okay.
and then on table D, um, and then there was a function which said what was above D. I can't recall exactly.
That
That
is
we will give
on,
yeah
using on.
on B, on D comma B,
Yeah.
and then
On,
on B comma C, and then on C comma E, and then clear A, and then clear E,
perfect.
and
That's
empty
all.
hand.
Yeah, right. So this is the first step. Okay, moving on to the second step, and you have to calculate heuristics at each step. And when you calculate heuristics, A is actually correctly positioned, but then since it's being on the floor, it's only 0. And then you have to just add. And the guiding method, what says is, the heuristics must improve at each solution. As you all remember, in the 8 puzzle problem, when we moved from one to the other, the heuristics with the highest value was chosen. So similarly, when you see from here -10 to -6, so the heuristics is actually improved, right? So only then you can assume that you're going in the correct path. Okay, this is the first step. Then moving on to the second step, what I have done is I've just picked E. Sorry. Okay, I've just picked E, and again E is also placed on the floor. So here E is placed on the floor. Again, you have to write all the strips combination. The functions has to be written. So whatever he has mentioned, those becomes the post conditions, and those post conditions for step 1 will become the preconditions for step 2. And after implementing, the robo arm
Ma'am,
has,
just
yes,
a small doubt, ma'am.
yes,
Actually, like, no matter whatever you pick from the top, wouldn't
okay.
it be wouldn't it change wouldn't the heuristics be the same? Like it would definitely reduce, right? Because it be at -4th position, so it would reduce. So
Yeah.
how would we know? How are you saying that it's the right way? How would you know that it's the right way? Heuristic would definitely go down no matter what's there in that position, right?
Yeah, but then once you rearrange it, right? So see, I'll show you here. Now it has already reduced. Okay. once you rearrange the blocks, this actually matters. So here I can also rearrange, saying that I can place after A, I can place E. If that is the case, my heuristics will not improve, right?
Oh yes, ma'am.
So first case, first 3 steps, you will not, you mean your heuristics will definitely go down. But then here, this building up actually matters.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So, ma'am, does this mean that we have to focus more on goal state than on the intermediate states of the solution?
You have to focus on goal state. No, I mean, you don't assume yourself, right? Assume computer is building this block for you, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so how do you guide the computer? So computer will try all possible combinations irrespective of whatever you're trying. But then it will just proceed in one direction if and only if the heuristics is improving. If the heuristics goes down, then it knows that something is going wrong and it will not proceed in that particular direction. Right? You are not playing this game, you are training the computer to play this game. So how does it train the computer is, this is how it does. That is, it is going to just calculate the heuristics. If it wrongly places a tile or if it wrongly places a block, then it's going to reduce the heuristics. In that case, that direction it will not go. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is how it has to be done. Just checking for charger. Okay. Moving on. Fine.
So what if there were, here in this case, we are assuming there are 5 blocks, but what if we had, say, 10 blocks, then we would start piling up. Can you move forward to step 4, ma'am? Because I earlier saw,
Yeah, okay.
here we are placing B over A. Let's say there was a situation where after this we can place C over D, or like D over C. Even that
Okay.
is also possible, right?
Yeah, that
Like,
is
I mean,
also possible. Let us
then
assume
in
you
that
forget
case,
this. D is placed over C. Okay. If that is the case, what would be the heuristic?
then again the
+1
heuristic would be +1.
No. See, compare the goal state here. Goal state says
The goal, ma'am.
Ma'am, it is +1 because it's part of the code structure.
no. Wait. I'll show you. Okay. If you place C on top of D, right? So the answer is still right. That is, what is the value you get? C, if it is on the floor, you get a value of 0. C on D, you say that you'll get a heuristics value of 1. But then C, if it is in the third block, only then you'll be getting a heuristics of +3. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
So here it is not on the third block. Now
So
I'll give you another situation where, let us assume here you have E. You have already placed D and then E. Okay. On top of D and E, you are placing C. Let us assume. So C is actually correctly placed. So for C, you will get +3. But
yes,
here
ma'am.
in below the C, you have 2 other different blocks which doesn't match with B or A. So for those 2 blocks, you'll get a negative marks. So your heuristics will not be exactly the same. Right?
But comparatively, it is an improvement. If suppose we were to place a block, if instead of B in this step, if we had placed D, then we would have -1 as our heuristic. And
yeah,
then
if you have placed D, you'll have -1, right?
And then if over that, if we had placed C, then our total heuristic becomes 2.
If you place C
over the top in after we
so it's -1 here, and then for C it is right, so it's +3, it becomes 2, right? Okay.
Yeah, so in that case, can't we argue that maybe training the computer to go focus more towards heuristic, like improving the heuristic value may tend it to take the wrong path while solving the problem?
No, I think no, because they will have like 3 blocks and then total will be 5, right? So it's just 2. Ours is just 2. So
finally, when you say that this is my goal state, your ultimate aim is you have to reach the goal state, which has a total heuristics of +10, right? But then you'll not reach the goal state if you do like that.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
So your final solution is you will either return the solution which is true, which means you have reached the goal state, or you will return a failure. When you return a failure, it means that you have not reached the goal, heuristics value of +10. That is how it means.
So, ma'am, would we be constantly comparing the ideal heuristic value for each and every block you place? Like
Yes,
comparing the current value to the ideal value. Yeah.
comparing the current value to the goal state.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
Okay.
So it's rather than focusing about how close are we to goal state than what's our heuristic score.
Yeah, that's right. But then anyway, if you compare if you're from previous state, if your heuristic value is going down, probably you'll not at all progress. You know that something is wrong, so you have to undo the previous state, and then you have to try another possible solution. Right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So finally, this is just a tile place. So you place C on top of this, and finally you place D on top of C, and E on top of D. So what happens is you get a +10. So how do you reach the goal state by means of heuristics is what is the thing. And then initial state you have seen, the final state also you have seen. What would be the path cost? So for each and every move, you assume a path cost of, path cost is involved, and then the total path cost is total number of transitions that were involved in doing this building blocks, right? Okay, just an introduction to strips is given here, but in detail we'll do it later. So initially you'll be having initial state, and then the goal state, and then strips action. So when we say strips, it stands for Stanford Research Institute Problem Solver. Okay, so from precondition state, okay, after you perform an action here means add or delete. Okay, so after you perform the action, what becomes your post condition? Okay, so that post condition will become the precondition for the next state, next move as such. So this is what all about your strips action. So you use strips. So strips typically we have seen all the possible action states. So you have to just construct, that's a completely different problem. Using strips, how do you transform from initial state to goal state? That we'll see it later, right? Moving on to the next problem, that is tic-tac-toe. So this is again a very easy problem. Before that, yeah, 57, can you answer your attendance?
Present, ma'am.
Ma'am, register number 1 and 45 have sent a message, ma'am, in the chat section that their mic is not working.
Fine. Okay, we'll check it later. Wait. 61.
Present, ma'am.
64.
Present, ma'am.
66.
Present, ma'am.
70.
Present, ma'am.
78.
Present, ma'am.
80.
Present, ma'am.
81. 'What happened? Okay. 83.
Present, ma'am.
87.
Present, ma'am.
88. 91.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm 88 present now.
Okay. $95.
Yes, ma'am.
96.
Yes, ma'am.
101.
Present, ma'am.
103.
Ma'am, present, ma'am.
111.
Present, ma'am.
117.
Yes, ma'am. Present, ma'am.
123.
Present, ma'am.
127.
Present, ma'am.
Okay, we'll come back later. And the next toy problem is tic-tac-toe. So we know what is tic-tac-toe. So you have this XO problem, right? So I'll show you how this has to be played. The same heuristics we'll be doing. Sorry, didn't have time to do this. Okay, can you all see? See, you start, initial state is given. So your initial state says 0, 0, x. So this is your initial state. So initially, we assume that who's playing, x is moving. Okay, so when you say x is moving, what are all the options x has got? So x can place, since here you have, it has to maximize its turn, right? So the x has 3 possible options, placing x in the empty squares here, 1, 2, and 3. So if it can place it here, here, or here. So that is the second 3 moves you have got. Okay, then O moves. So when O moves, obviously we know the 2 place that is left is these 2 places. So O can place the coin here, or it can place it here. So these are the next 2 moves. So who will play next? Again, x is going to play. So x is going to place it here, or x is going to place it in this particular position. So these are the 2 moves. Okay. So similarly, you will expand the other 2 values also. Now, what is the guiding rule here is you're going to calculate something called as expected value of n. So when we say expected value of n, it is simply total possible x wins minus total possible O wins. Okay. So when I say total possible x wins, so if you say the first condition here, x win is not there, O also has not won the game. So what you give here is 0 minus 0, it's equal to 0. So the final state, whether you have actually reached the final state or not, that is determined by means of calculating your expected value of n. So similarly, here if you see, x has actually won the game. So which means 1 for x and 0 for O. So similarly here, it is whose turn? Yeah, x win only. So 1 minus 0. Here also x win. Here you don't have a, okay. So here you don't have a win. So that is going to be 0 minus 0. So that is totally 0. So whatever values you get the value of 1, that will be your possible goal states. So first of all, given an initial state, randomly you take an initial state, and based on the moves, you will be arriving at a state that we call it as a goal state. So whether you have reached the goal state or not, that is depending on your expected value of n. So here the expected value of n is taken to be equal to 1. So if you have reached 1, it means that you have actually got the solution, right? So here we'll see in depth about the min-max games. We have something called as alpha beta pruning, and then the min-max games. So probably those things we will, using alpha beta pruning, we'll check it up in other classes. Okay. So this is all about the toy problem, which is tic-tac-toe. And then moving on to the next problem. This is also a very famous problem, which we call it as missionaries and cannibals. So when what is missionary and cannibal? So you'll be given a different set of states. So probably you have 3 missionaries and 3 cannibals, and you have to move all these 3 missionaries and cannibals from one bank river to the other bank. Okay, and you have only 1 boat, and the rule says that in 1 boat only 2 people can travel. It can be 1 missionary or 1 cannibal, or it can be 2 missionaries together or 2 cannibals together. So any combination is possible. But then there's one more constraint which says that in bank 2, you cannot have more than 1, that is twice the number of cannibals cannot be left with 1 missionary. Okay, so there'll be an attack on the missionary if you leave 2 cannibals with 1 missionary, right? So that is the constraint given here. So how do we use these rules? So these rules are typically your production rules. So using these rules, how do you go from one bank to the other? This is your problem statement, right? So, okay. How do we use this? I want you to try. This is very easy only. So here in bank 1, you have all, and bank 2, you have nothing. So in first boat, who has traveled? Missionary and cannibal, they have traveled together, right? So what happens here is in bank 2, you can add, if you want, you can add one more column which says that a boat representation. Okay, in boat who's traveling. So one missionary and one cannibal has traveled here, and then how does the boat go back? So what is the next state of the boat? In step number 3, what is the next boat who's going? I say here
Missionary was traveling back.
One missionary
yeah,
will
leaving
travel
the
back.
cannibal, yes, missionary has traveled back. So here I say rule number 2 is applied. So what is that rule number 2? So here in these are the boat positions. In rule number 2, a cannibal is not there, only missionary has traveled back. So I just pick this rule and place it there, right? Then moving on, you can try your own combination for moving all the 3 missionaries and 3 cannibals from one bank to the other bank, and then using all possible combinations of rules. See here, 2 cannibals traveling together, every possible combination is listed. 2 missionaries going together, 1 missionary traveling back, and then 1 cannibal traveling back. So all possible combinations has been listed, and using these boat movements, so these boat movements are actually listed here as rules. So who has traveled from where to where? Here every place you just have to take care that number of cannibals should not outnumber the number of missionaries, right? So that has to be ensured. So in no place you will be having something like 3 cannibals and 1 missionary. No, that should not happen. But 3 cannibals can be left alone. That will not be a problem, right? So this is a simple problem only. Only thing you have to remember, again, the application of start state, and then you have the goal state. Then the constraint, who is traveling in the, this is similar to your water jug problem. So applying the production rules, here we just call it as action rules. So applying the action rules, what action rule, all possible action rules, you just list it. And then applying these action rules, how do you arrive at the goal state? This is all about the missionaries and the cannibals problem, right? So I don't think you'll have doubts in this. Can you just try your own problem like this? You can assume any number of missionaries, like 3 missionaries and 2 cannibals traveling to the other bank. So the variations of the problem, you can try it on your own. Okay. Then moving on to the next problem. Okay, this is each boat, the boat travel transition, you take it as path cost is equal to 1. And other than that, you have the initial state. So initial state is 3, 3, 1. What does it mean? 3 missionaries, 3 cannibal, and then the 1 boat. And final goal state, everyone has reached the other bank, so you have 0, 0, 0. Okay. And one possible thing you have to note, all possible states are not attainable. That is, a boat cannot go alone without any missionary or the cannibal. Without anyone, you cannot go. So you have to avoid all the illegal states while you're listing down the actions. So that is all about the toy problem, that is toy problem 7. Okay. Moving on to the next problem. Again, we have seen this earlier in our data structures design and
Ma'am,
yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I have a small doubt.
Yes, ma'am.
Here in earlier problem, we used heuristics to calculate how close are we to the goal state. Like in earlier case when we were starting the
water
boat.
jug and yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and in this case, what are we again going to use a metric to calculate?
In water jug problem, did we calculate any heuristics? Did we use any heuristics? We had only a set of production rules, and using those rules, the rule sequence you can change in any order you want, but then by changing the rules, you have to finally arrive at the goal state, right? Did we have any, in water jug problem, did we have any heuristics? No. Not that heuristics must be used for all kinds of AI problems. That is one of the ways of using it. The other way of using it, probably here we have used production rules. That was in water jug problem and this particular problem, right? So if you're going for search algorithms and all, probably you'll not use even the production rules nor that particular thing. You have certain other algorithms for search problems, searching in sense to find out whether a particular node is there in the tree or not. Okay, so it's not that you have to use heuristics for every problem. Probably if you try using all the action rules, And if you still can't arrive at this possible final state or the goal state, then you will say that this is not possible, right?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Coming to the toy problem 8, that is pathfinding problems. What is this traveling salesman problem? Can someone just recall what is traveling salesman?
He needs to travel. I mean, there will be n number of cities given. He have to travel through all the cities, and he has to go to each city only once, and he has to use a path with minimum cost to go to all the cities.
And can he has to visit the city at least, I mean, only once, not more than once, right? So that was also included in your statement, right? So now we'll just start. Okay, so here you have number of cities visited. I've just taken 4 cities, so because this is a very big graph, so starting from 1 you have to go back to 1 only. So if you are taking 3 cities, which means 1, 2 and 3 alone, so starting from 1, 2, 3, 3 to 1, you don't have a direct combination. 1, 3 to 1. Okay, now if let us assume in this graph you're listing all possible combinations, we have some method called as lexicographic approach. Probably you'd have studied it, even otherwise not an issue. I'll tell you what it is. Now if you take if you're taking only 3 cities, that is you want to visit 3 cities and then you want to go back to 1, is it actually possible? Don't think as a machine, just as a human being, is it possible? 1, 2 and 3, and then you have to go back to 1. Probably if you had a route like no, even otherwise 1, 2, 3 you'll visit, or 1, 3, 2, not possible, because 1, 2, 3 you don't have a link at all, right? So there's something called as lexicographic approach, which simply states that you what is lexicography in simple English? It is arranging, arranging in an alphabetical order. So similarly here it is either 1, 2, 3 or it is going to be 1, 3, 2. So you'll just arrange the combinations, and then if you have a path of this kind, you will say that your goal is reached, right? If you don't find a path of this kind, you say that your goal is not reached, which means the solution returns a failure. Okay, now if you take 4 cities, which means what? You're covering 1, 2, 3 and 4. If you assume your 1 to be your initial state, the question is whether you can start from 1 and reach 1 using any of the possible combinations. So here lexicographically, if you arrange, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 3, 1, 3, 2, 4, all possible combinations. I've just listed it. Okay, and finally you have to just check. Yes. Hello. Yes, ma'am. Someone asked a doubt. Okay, I'll continue. So all possible paths has to be listed first in a lexicographic approach. So once you have listed all possible paths in lexicographic approach, then finally you have to check whether you can reach in sense from 4, whether you have a path to 1. So that would be the closing loop. So first case, yes. Second case, 3 to 1. No, you don't have a path. Again here 4 to 1 you have a path. 2 to 1 also you have a path. See here, this is also possible. Second one you don't have a dash here. Okay, so just ignore this. So the second combination not possible. Third combination 1, 3, 2, 4, 1. Yeah, that is possible because from 4 to 1 you have a path. No, 4 to 1 direct path you don't have.
From 1 to 3 also we don't have a path.
No. From 1 to 3, where is it? 3 to 1. 3 to 1 also you don't have a path. Yeah. So this combination, first one is right. The second combination you don't have a path, so you just ignore. Third combination 4 to 1 also ignore. You don't have an dash here. The next combination 2 to 1, yes, this is possible. But 1 to 3,
but
yeah,
1
1
to
to 3
3
cannot go, right? So that is also not possible. Then the fourth, this combination 1, 4, no, not possible, right? 1, 4, you don't have a direct path. Then this combination is also not possible, right? So here only possible combination is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. No, not possible.
Ma'am, even that is not
Not
possible.
possible. Right. So all these is going to return a failure only. So probably if you take another 5 steps, again you have to check whether that is possible, and similarly expand for all the n cities. So once you expand for all the n cities, finally whatever result you get, final result must take care of our problem statement. That is, starting from initial state, you have to go back to the same initial state after traveling all the cities at least once. So if that condition is satisfied, probably you'll return a true statement, otherwise you'll return a failure, right? So here again you have initial states, you have the final state, and then the state transitions are generated by lexicographical approach. And after generation of the state, all possible actions, then what is the final thing you have to do? You have to check each and every state as per the constraints. Constraints here is what? Whether the root exists or whether it doesn't exist. So if all the lexicographical generations actions has resulted in a failure, in that case you'll say that the total there's no solution for the problem. Okay, so this is what all about your traveling salesman problem. Probably you can, I'll post one small graph in the assignment GCR. So there you can solve and let me know whether you can find a solution or not possible using lexicographic approach, right? Then the final toy problem is the very easy problem, which is monkey banana problem. So here the monkey banana problem, here this is very easy. So you have bananas hanging in top of the ceiling, and the monkey is there in a room. One stick is also there, and you also have a chair. So here the question is, how does the monkey pick the bananas? So very simple. You have to just try the combinations. So monkey can directly jump and take the bananas, or the monkey can use a stick to pick the bananas. That is also possible. So all possible rules you think, and then the final combination, whichever reaches the goal, has to be given. So what is the final solution? Monkey is using the chair to sit, and then using the stick, it is taking the bananas. So this is how you frame the problem. Like here again, we call it as action rules. That's it. So using action rules, how does the goal state is reached, right? So this is all about the monkey banana problem. So in summary, you have seen 9 different types of toy problems. Probably the ordering is different here. Block wall problem. So for this, using STIPS programming, you have to just calculate the heuristics. Then for 4 queens, using the backtracking method, you have to place the 4 queens such that there's no clash. Tic-tac-toe, which is nothing but your XO game. Using the expected value calculation, we have to reach the final goal state. Then for water jug problem, again, you have a set of production rules. Using what rule, whether you can achieve the goal or not is determined using the water jug problem. Monkey banana, it's again a set of action rules. We don't call it as production rules, just action rules. So you have to just derive the sequence. And for all the cases, you just have to calculate the path cost. In some cases, path cost will not be there. Some cases, you'll have the path cost, right? You have to be careful with that. And then 8 puzzle game, that is the sliding transition game. So heuristics was used here. And then for traveling salesman problem, again, you have to use lexicographic approach to lexicographical approach is just one solution, one easiest solution for TSP. That is to calculate whether you can reach from a start node, whether you can reach back to the same start node as per the given constraints. And then vacuum cleaner, you assume vacuum cleaner as an agent, and you have actually seen how the agent behaves, what would be the actions, the percepts, and the sequence has been just introduced by taking the example of vacuum cleaner. And then again, finally, the missionaries and cannibals, a set of action rules were framed, and using those rules and the constraints, whether the missionaries and cannibals in one bank, whether they can reach to the other bank or whether that reach is not possible. So this is all about the summary of toy problems, right? So with this, we'll move on to problem characteristics 956. We'll take it up in the next class. So today, as I told you, I'll just post one question as a small assignment in the GCR that would be on the seventh toy problem, that is traveling salesman problem. Okay, and others, those who have not completed water jug problem, I just request you to complete it. Finally, 141. Sure. On there.
Present, ma'am. Mic
Okay.
was.
Fine. 147.
You didn't call for 128.
Sorry. 128. Yes. 133.
Ma'am, 81, ma'am.
Wait. I'll come back. 133. 149. 151.
Yes, ma'am.
153.
Yes, ma'am.
159.
Yes, ma'am.
165.
Present, ma'am.
166.
Ma'am.
169.
Yes, ma'am.
171.
Present, ma'am.
172.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, 147 present, ma'am.
Present only I have given. Only 149 not given. 176. Vashni.
Present, ma'am.
160. Shukriti. 717.
Ma'am,
Present,
60
ma'am.
is present. So mic is not working.
60 no.
60, Sukruti is present, ma'am.
Shukriti. Fine. Okay, ma'am. Nilofer.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. Suryarangan. Nishant.
Present, ma'am.
Nishant is in.
113, ma'am.
113. 133. 113.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, you missed a number, ma'am. 113. He comes before me.
Oh, 113 before you, is it? Okay, I'll take a note of it. Fine.
111, 113, 116.
Fine. Okay, 113 I'll give. Who's this? Satya, 81.
Present, ma'am. Ma'am?
Yes, got it, ma'am. 45.
Present, ma'am.
51. 53.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. Ramya.
Ma'am, present, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, ma'am. So only 51 is absent. 51, then 133 Nishant, and 149 Suryarangan, right? Okay. Fine. So I think with this we can close today's class. Probably tomorrow we'll have problem characteristics. Okay, for the tutorials, probably we'll finish this first unit within 5 to 6 classes, but then we have 9 classes for first unit. So I'll teach you how to develop a basic chatbot. If any of you knows how to develop a chatbot, because even I am a beginner to develop a chatbot. So if you know, probably you can give one small presentation for half an hour to 45 minutes in between. Does someone know how to build a chatbot? Using IBM Watson Assistant only, even I have learned, because we have seen one chatbot here in this unit, which is Alice the chatbot, right? Elisa and all. So probably we'll build our own chatbot. If anyone has got expertise or not expertise, has used chatbot, probably you can let me know. I'll request you to give one small demonstration. Anyone? Deepak knows, is it?
No, ma'am. They're just kidding.
Okay. Ujjwal,
Yes, ma'am.
you know, is it? Can you just give us a small demo on how to build a chatbot? Yes? I saw no. Pramit also knows. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So Pramit can give. Okay. Pramit and Ujjwal, right? Fine. So after I finish my first unit, probably after the 5 classes, probably I'll finish it by next 2 classes. I request you both to give us a small demo on how to build our own chatbot, right? Using what? Using IBM Watson Assistant or something else?
Using a chatterbot, ma'am.
Okay, fine. We'll learn that also. No issues. Okay, now time is up. You can go to the next class. Thank you, guys. Thanks for joining.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.